I think we fantasize about things just like a new car, right? You finally get to drive that really nice, amazing car. And on day one, it's insane. The first week, it's amazing. But dude, by day 90, it's kind of just a vehicle most of the time. So the things that we dream about and the things that we want, I think they evolve and they shift. I think people should find a way to get what they want now, live a piece of it, get the fulfillment from it, and then evolve to find out what the new next is.
There's people listening to this right now. They're already successful, but successful to what degree? Like Tony Robbins would think I'm losing. Like if Tony had my money, he'd probably commit suicide. Well, he'd be deeply troubled. Yeah. And he'd probably be bankrupt because he couldn't survive his lifestyle.
No, there's no way.
So at the end of the day, and I make, I'm considered a success, especially in my family. Nobody's ever reached millionaire, let alone multi-millionaire in my family. I might take that back. I think my uncle might have. But at the end of the day, what is success? What does it look like? How do people figure that out? Because when they're chasing after Tony Robbins' lifestyle and they die broke and unfulfilled because they never reached it, isn't there a danger to that?
I think that the biggest danger is not really knowing who we are. So many of us are driven by significance. We're driven by, frankly, ego, right? It's like, I need this accolade. I need this next accomplishment. I need this next hit. And you can never get enough of what you don't need because what you don't need can never satisfy you. And if you really internalize what that means, you have to stop and reevaluate and say, all right, what actually then genuinely gives me lasting fulfillment? And I need to find a way to pursue that. But Brad, there's a problem with that advice. People are like, well, then I'm not going to do my job because 87% of us hate our job, which means people are going to go broke. So they can't afford to pursue what is meaningful. And that's where I say, you've got to build in leverage. Like a lot of people think I am the real estate guy, but here's what they really don't understand. Real estate is just a tool for money, just like business. And I need a certain amount of it to make sure that I can live my ideal lifestyle for me, my family, my 4 kids, my wife, and then be able to pursue what is meaningful.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that would do the work, they don't know how.
Yeah.
And then there's people that like you that have figured out how, and you're enjoying life. So if someone's listening to this and they haven't figured out the how, could they just follow your model?
They could follow my model, but ultimately I think they have to find the right mentor.
How much?
You got to find someone that's figured it out, that you respect, that you want to learn from, and then you rock that model. You just copy them.
My question would be, how do you figure out what you want? I think that's harder than people think.
Yeah, I actually agree because I think sometimes it's also a moving target. I had this conversation with someone the other day, and they're one of my private students. They paid $250,000 to spend time with me. They flew in town, and they said, man, Kris, I said, what do you really want? And Eric says, man, I want to make so much money so that I can live off the land as a bum for a year and do nothing and be a hippie and grow my own food. And I said, wow, how much money do you think you need for what you've envisioned? He said, oh man, I probably need, $7 or $8 million. I said, hey, do you mind if I give you a shortcut? If you think you want that, first of all, you're probably wrong. You're fantasizing about something so far into the future. And by the way, if you're listening, we do this. We have these things that we claim we want, but what we really want is a small measure of it. And I said, you know what you should do? I said, you know what? How much do you think if someone else, if you don't have to buy the land, because by the way, if you're going to do it for 1 year, you don't have to own the land. Ownership is overrated. You need control. Like, how much would it cost for you to find someone that has the land that you could then live that way for a year? He said, oh, I'd probably only need $200,000. I said, bro, then when can you have that dream? And he checked in. He said, actually, financially, I could have that right now. Yeah. I'm like, Eric, you could live that life right now for a year. And guess what? You might find out in 1 month that you are full to that and done. Or after a year, you might say, this is more of like this is a long thing. I think we fantasize about things just like a new car, right? You finally get to drive that really nice, amazing car. And on day one, it's insane. The first week, it's amazing. But dude, by day 90, it's kind of just a vehicle most of the time. So the things that we dream about and the things that we want, I think they evolve and they shift. I think people should find a way to get what they want now, live a piece of it, get the fulfillment from it, and then evolve to find out what the new next is.
So when it comes to like lifestyle, houses, just lifestyle, when I hear lifestyle, I'm thinking about, Like, would I be here talking to you right now if I had $1 billion? Well, I think so. Why? Well, because I'm doing this for a purpose. There's purpose. I would come here without being paid. This is something I would do. Purpose. However, would I come in here, Lightspeed, every day? No,
right now.
I would not. Well, no, hell no. Dude, I'd hire you or somebody that's willing to be hired and say, sit there and figure this shit out and let me know I'll be over here. Now, the question is, what would I be over there doing? Because that I don't know. It's like, I almost feel like, maybe it's a midlife.
Yeah, it's
midlife crisis. Maybe I'm going through that.
Someone told me, they said, when you've made enough money that your lifestyle no longer changes, it can really impact the way you see yourself and your goals. And for the last 10 years, my lifestyle has not changed. My money keeps changing. I keep making more money, but the money I spend, I'm super content with the money I spend. And in the last few years, for me at least, Brad, that got me like kind of stuck. Like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my time? And I had to really find a new balance. And it hit me last year. One of the top 100 YouTubers in the world, Grant Thompson, his channel's called The King of Random, was a buddy of mine, really, honestly, my best friend. And he was paragliding and he caught the wrong wind and he fell out of the sky and he died. And he left a beautiful wife and 4 kids. He'd be 40 years old now. He was, 38 and a half when it happened. And that moment really caused me to reflect. If I were done tomorrow like my friend, like what really is the most meaning? And I tried, I experimented. I literally walked from my business and I just went full-time family. And after about the first week was amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm on a staycation. Like I can do whatever I want with my time. But after spending time with my kids, by the second, third, fourth week, I'm like, oh, something is missing again. And I had to find a balance for me. And I don't know if I'll ever really find it, Brad, but right now what that balance means for me is I work about 20 to 30 hours a week. And that, if it's work that I love and I'm not stuck as the artist and I have leverage all around me, I have all the novelty I'm looking for, 20 to 30 hours actually creates a lot of joy and fulfillment and purpose in my life. But if I work more than that, I get grouchy. And if I work less than that, I get grouchy. So like for me, there's an amount of time for what I care about and my legacy and my mission and how I want to benefit the world. Some of my time is given to my charitable foundation. A lot of that time is given to my family. Some of the time is for me in a non-working environment. I think everyone's got to really ask, what do you want? And that's a question that I don't think we should ever stop asking.